Okay, chapter 19. We have about an hour to make plans and get ready, Jake said. 1 hour. Lessons we have to get in position. Okay, what do we know, Margaret said. We know his fair and guys when he makes the final decision. We know he's not controlled, we've already voted to let the log him again. We know the Yerks won't leave it to chance, Rachel says. He's coming here to decide. They'll be ready to do an involuntary infestation. Now some slugs sitting in the vat right now waiting to crawl into his ear. They may just try to persuade the human, Axe suggested. They prefer voluntary infestation. They can get the human to give him this vote, they may simply let him go. So what do? Attack? They'll just storm in and mess everything up? Hey, shush, Tobias said. What? Rachel asked him. Don't you guys hear that? Even human ears should hear that. We all listened very intently and came carried on the breeze the sound of diesel engines. Probably just our friends moving their heavy equipment around, putting in nice neat rows for the commissioner, Jake said. They thought over and added, Tobias, you mind taking a look? You'll have to swing his sword of treetops and out of sight. Okay, back to business, Jake said. One way there, the sparing guys to keep votes yes, they can lie. If he votes no, they can't. Now out attracting way too much attention. Assuming they let him live long to vote no, Rachel said. That's our job then. We keep them alive and keep them from becoming a controller. Everyone nodded. Too bad I have no idea how to do that. Then Tobias came back. They already started, he yelled, shot past the land of branch. Start what? The Yerks start cutting down trees are coming this way. Well, Jake said I guess that settles the question where they're going to infest the guy. They don't care what he sees when we get here, Rachel says. They don't care about convincing him. This poor man's already has a slug with his name on it. You wouldn't believe how fast those machines can rip over trees, Tobias said. I was chicken up. They're cutting trees like a farmer cuts wheat. And we have one of your hours help this commissioner act that we focus 2 stock guns on a skunk burrow. The small one's right in the path of the loggers if Tobias is correct. I said Margaret makes some remark on no one care about the skunks at a time like this, but at a moment he said, hey, no one messes with the skunks. They're under official animal protection. He looked at me and made a mocking clenched fist salute. Save the skunks, our sister. Margaret's such a pain about it right then when you think he's gonna drive you crazy, he comes through big time. Yeah, these are our skunks, Rachel said. No one messes with our skunks. Excuse me, hello, Jake Arbit? A plan? A plan, please? Well, what, he asked me. If he's the key, we need to grab the key, right? Chances are they'll turn a force help down or give him to camp. That's when we get away from the Yerks, no matter what it takes. Grab Farron. Simple, elegant, yet given the Yerk power in a compound, completely suicidal. I'm surprised, Cassie. Usually Rachel's one comes up with a suicidal plan. You have a better idea, Jake asked Marco? We can go home and watch TV. I'll take that as a no. Okay then, he rubbed his hands together. We snatch this Farron guy as soon as he shows up. In the meantime, we're to slow down these tree-cutting machines. Rachel grinned. Cool. I felt sick. Chapter 20. There's only one way for a person to reach the Yerk log camp by car. They had to drive down the long dirt road that the Yerks had cut through the forest. Jake wanted me to go with Tobias to see if we could spot Farron coming in. He made some quick decisions. He, Marco, and Rachel and Axe took off, leaving me and Tobias. I looked at ruefully at Tobias. You and me, I guess. I'm glad to have you along, he said. I'm Animorph and Osprey. He is my prey morph, and the only thing I had to keep up with him in the air. Look, Tobias has bothered me since, you know, I want to get this on my chest. I'm sorry I got mad over the skunk kid. You're just doing what you had to do. I felt my bones thinning and hauling out. Great feathers gonna paint their patterns on his arms. On my arms. I could live with the food you guys brought me, Tobias said. I don't have to hunt. Okay, then why do you ask if our mouth mutate into a beak? Because I'm not human. I have a hawk. I'm also a hawk. Hawks hunt live prey. Would it be better if I let you do my killing for me? Is it more moral to eat a frozen mouse so you get some supplier? Look, Tobias, I know how nature works. I know prayers and prey. It's just confusing. I mean, where does right and wrong come into it? Snowy feathers are growing out of my front, replacing the fabric of my morphing suit. My feet are becoming pale gray talons. I don't know. I guess we're running around killing animals I didn't intend to eat. That'd be wrong. But hawks have a right to live just as much as a mouse or a skunk. My human eyes are giving way to amazingly hawk vision. There are some color distortion because eyes are adapted to seeing through water. Osprey eats fish. Nature designed to sea fishing below the simmering surface of a lake or river. Ready to fly, yes? I flapped my wings. Let's go, I said, trying to sound like Rachel. He flapped his wings, caught a headwind, and suddenly shot straight up. Out of my wings, I contracted tireless flying muscles. Flap, 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 and I also caught the breeze. I flapped to get above the trees, and a strong breeze came up and I soared high. It was like stepping on an escalator. Zoom! I flapped hard, waiting the sensation and speed. Tobias was way ahead, and as I flew, I watched him. I watched incredibly subtle movements. He almost seemed to be able to move individual feathers. For him, the wind was invisible. It was a road as clear as it was a blacktop. I followed him and sensed the osprey brain beneath my own adjusting and reacting. My eyes saw every small detail. They marked every animal, every hole where an animal would be hiding. I saw a bright tree and saw shadows of fish fleeing for the rocks. My osprey was designed by nature for this, flying high and finding prey, just like Tobias. We flew up, and the top of trees were like some bumpy lawn beneath us. I could see all the Yerk logging camp. I could see the massive yellow machines that were slicing the trees like hot knives through butter. Already an ugly scar of stumps. The scars felt like some terrible disease eating the forest away. Tobias veered right toward a long winding road for the trees. I backed my wings and went after him. The trees joined a small river rushing and bubbling alongside the road. Through the water, through the foam and bells, I saw a school of fish darting. I could feel their ostrich brain considered the situation, measuring the distances, calculating the angles, playing away would skim low and lower its ripping talons just perfect moment to strike, to snatch a fish out of the water. I knew Tobias made the same calculations. He flew over mice and rats and rabbits and skunks. Tobias and I were two superb, beautiful killers right in a window while prey cowered beneath us, but he was right. We had just as much of the right to live as our prey, and we were designed by millions of years of evolution to be predators. There, Tobias said, a jeep. I looked and saw the vehicle coming down the road, and then with amazingly cute hawkfish I saw right through the windows as though a pulling glass or a surface of a stream. 3 guys, one driving, one beside him. There's one in the backseat looks older. Yep, and on the side it says Damson Lumber. I guess they had a driver and the other guy are controllers. The guy in the backseat's looking around, he's interested in what's going on. They'll reach the camp in a few minutes. As soon as we see him react, we'll know if he's already been turned to controller. How's that? If they gone ahead with logging, if he's still human, he'll be upset. If he's calm, he's already one of them. Good point, Tobias said. What do we do if he's control already? I don't know. I guess we focus on attacking the logging operation. Really? You know what we do if he's a non-human controller? We go after him and whatever happened, right? You mean like a termite? Tobias said dryly. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Look, Cassie, you're human. Homo sapien. Your job is to keep yourself and your species alive. That's all nature wants. That's the whole point of evolution, to survive. He sounded angry. We were following the jeep now, heading toward a logging camp. It happened in a few minutes. In a few minutes, Farron would see what's going on and we'd know what he was. One of us or one of them. Survive us, Valley. That's the law of nature. Number 1 law, and humans are part of nature. Then so are the Yerks, and we're no better than them. I guess I'll worry about that one later, Tobias said. Look. Personally, I think Tobias is angry because he's kind of been living this for a while, and it feels like he's only now realizing something he's realized for probably months by now. The jeep pulled up and stopped to a stop in front of the Yerk fortress. Farron flung open the door and jumped out. I could see him waving his arms. Even where I stood, I could see the anger in his face. From the building, there came a man. But this man felt wrong. Even from the air, I felt a chill that seemed to emanate from him. Him, Tobias said. I knew instantly Tobias meant. I saw him once in Animorphs, but that's him. Visitor 3. Chapter 21. Visitor 3, the leader of the Yerk invasion of Earth. The only Yerk in all the universe to take control of an andalite body. The only Yerk in all the universe of power to morph. It shouldn't surprise me to use a human morph. It made sense. And yet I felt a cold rage inside me at the sight. It wasn't logical, but I felt just the same. He was a fake human, using human DNA and human form powers planned to enslave humanity. Visitor 3, I said to Tobias. Yeah, he looks so normal, except for the fact he gives you the creeps. I have a bad feeling about this. I don't think they're going to wait long. They're going to take him right away. Farron was walking toward Visitor 3, waving his hands wildly toward the heavy machinery chewing through the trees. Visitor 3 is smiling, and it wasn't exactly a nice smile. Where are Jake and the arrows, Tobias wondered. Oh man, this is going to happen real... All of a sudden, Visitor 3 lashed out and slapped Farron across the face. He staggered back and held a hand to his cheek. The 2 men from a jeep rushed to grab Farron's arms. He was an older man. He was helpless. Cassie, look, that's either Jake or some other tiger loose in the woods. I looked toward a clearing and I could see a huge orange truck tires racing toward Farron. But he was too far away. It all happened too suddenly. He wasn't in position. I didn't know where the others were, probably still morphing. It's up to us, I said. I adjusted my wings and aimed for Visitor 3 and dove. Down and down, faster than my wings were vibrating, my bones were rattling from the speed. The target, Visitor 3's human head, grew larger. I ran my talons forward and flared my wings just enough to keep from where shooting as I struck. I feel my talons bite into his scalp, and I was out of there carrying my momentum. Ah! The visitor yelled. And at the same instant, Tobias hit one of the guys in the jeep. Tobias had more experience and his aim was better. That guy would be wearing an eye patch for the rest of his life. Okay then. I think she just scraped Visitor 3 and the other guy just got his eye just jabbed out by a hawk talon, so yeah. Farron broke free of his main captor and ran. Get him, Visitor 3 yelled, full alert. The uninjured guard went after Farron and he caught him easily and knocked him face down in the dirt. I saw Jake closing in on a black-orange streak. Looking past him, I saw there was a second battle on the edge of the forest. 2 wolves, Rachel and Marco, running controllers operating the machines. The premier guards would come running, automatic weapons ready. Then suddenly, fast as a gazelle, Axe ran to help Rachel. The nearest guard turned to take a shot and his tail flashed, and he no longer had a way to pull the trigger. Just behind me, the air controller on a jeep pan kicked Farron and was struggling to get up. There was too much for me. I wheeled in the air and went back for a second run. Cassie, God's cried in warning. The front door building flew and began spilling out. Half a dozen human controllers, each armed, and worse, 4 big heart mature, but it was too late to back off. I was already diving. I heard the first 2 bullets go whizzing past me, but the third one hit my wing. It went straight through the right wing and I fell in the air, suddenly as ungainly as a chicken. I fell, helpless. Woomph. I slammed hard on the ground. Dazed confused, I saw Jake leap toward a heart mature warrior, but I couldn't be sure. I was fading. Fading. When the world grew small and dark, I could no longer see anything far away, only focused on the ground right before me. An ant was marching away carrying a dead bug. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe my brain was making up things that weren't there, but I was sworn the ant was carrying a dried, dead husk of the termite queen. And then everything went black. Chapter 22. I woke up in some sort of large box. It was dark but not without light. There were small round holes drilled in the side of the box. Air holes. I could see the Commissioner Farron unconscious beside me. He looked old, mostly bald, and hair growing out of his ears. There was blood trickling from a shallow cut on his forehead. Turn on the perimeter defenses, Visitor yelled. I hear him clearly. I was still an Osprey, but Ospreys have good hearing. They are strange being able to hear his voice. He wasn't carrying a stolen body. Then he communicated only in thought speak. You, and you, keep an eye on that box. If anything, no matter how small tries to get out of there, destroy it. There's an Andalite Bandit in that box, and if there better be a bandit in that box when this is over, I'll destroy you both. Andalite Bandit, that was me. Of course, I didn't get out of the box, I would have to demorph eventually, and the Visitor would see the truth. I was human. And I had to demorph soon. My wing field was on fire. The pain was horrible. Visitor, the Andalite Bandits turned heavy equipment against us, someone yelled. Then turn on the force field. But our own people will be trapped outside. His voice came very quiet. A dangerous sort of quiet. Did I just hear you question my order? No, Visitor! No, Visitor, no! I'm turning on the force field. Farron moaned. He moved his head a little and became quiet again. Okay, Cassie, think. Think. Obviously, my friends are still fighting. They must be wondering who wouldn't turn on the force field. They seized control of some of the machines and turned against the building. And soon the force field was up, the heavy equipment would be useless. And time was on their side. Visitor would have called in more help. Bugfire's full of fresh Harbinger would be landing any minute. When that happened, all would be lost. We were done for. No. Think, Cassie. That was the game of Predator and Prey. This is war. What are their weaknesses? What they need that I could take away? Farron moaned again. Of course. I took the breath and morphed quickly out of pain-wrecked by Osprey body into my own human form. Morphing worse than DNA, and DNA is not affected by injuries. My reconstructed human body would be normal. It was cramped in the box with two humans in there. I hunched over Farron, his eyes fluttered open, and already morphing my next morph. When he saw was a face of a girl with a face inspiring in luxuriant black and white fur. His eyes closed again. He would think it's a dream, hopefully. Ha! Heard Visitor crow. The force field has stopped them. Visitor, the first bugfires will land in 15 minutes. Got them, Visitor said. This time I've got them. Using thought speak, he demorphed. I focused on my thoughts and I knew what I had to do, but it was dangerous. I had to communicate with the Visitor in thought speak, and I'd do it without giving him a hint I was human. No long conversation, monotone voice, with as few words as possible, no images of any kind. Visitor, I said, I will kill the human. That was his weakness. He needed Farron alive. That was the pressure point. I threatened to kill him. I threatened his plan. Because you can't make a controller out of a corpse. He understood. Everyone in the room, weapons in the box. He prepared my command to shoot the Andalite without hitting the human. They might take any wild, deadly morph. Do not let them escape. I got into position. The human me was scared, but the skunk me was calm. The skunk knew it had the ultimate weapon. Suddenly, a door of the box flew open. Visitor stood there, his body was deadly tail cocked and ready. Beside him on either side stood half a dozen armed human controllers, and between the humans towering above them 5 huge warriors. Harbinger warriors. The human controllers leveled their weapons. The Harbinger weapons too, but they didn't need them. They were weapons. 7 feet of ankle blades, knee blades, elbow blades, forehead blades, and an armored tail, like Stegosaurus meets Klingon. All his power stared down at me. Visitor aimed his stalk eyes at me, his main eyes are staring in amusement. That is the best you can do, Andalite scum. Such a terrifying beast you've morphed, he laughed again. He laughed at the chubby, cat-sized black and white animal in the box, laughed at the way it stood my back with him, tail raised looking over my shoulder. A skunk and fire sent with amazing accuracy up to 14 feet. The Visitor was only 6 feet away. Kill it, he roared coldly. But I fired first. A skunk and fire sent in 5 to 7 shots, and I fired once I hit him right in the face. I fired again, hit the Harbinger on the left. Again, I hit the 2 human controllers. Again, all within 3 seconds. Stink! The Visitor staggered back, blind and reeking from the mighty stench. The human controllers covered their mouths in their hands, some even dropped their weapons. The Harbinger I was worried about, I didn't even know that they had a sense of smell, but it turns out they do. They have an excellent sense of smell. Too bad for them. They are the first to panic, and one fires Drake on me wildly. Don't shoot, you fools, Visitor screamed. You'll hit the human! Or me! Actually, the hit was the floor. A big smoldering hole appeared in the wood. Reeking infernal graffle! One of the Harbinger kept belling an odd mix of English and their own voice. Then the Harbinger lost completely and turned and ran for the door. Personally, I didn't see what they were so excited about. It didn't smell bad to me. Chapter 23. They ran, the human controllers, Harbinger, and Visitor free. They ran from this horror of my skunk smell. I waddled as far as the doorway. I saw an amazing scene. The force was still on. 3 massive tree cutters, diesel engines roaring and billowing smoke were shrinking as the force like mad dogs on a leash. Inside the force were totally demoralized young forces. Outside the force was a bizarre zoo, a tiger, grizzly bear, a gorilla, and something no human zoo ever held, an Andalite. Drake, Marco, Rachel, and Axe. Around a clearing, a handful of human controls harbingers sat nursing wounds, some just laid in the dirt. It was a weird, intense scene. And if the force field came down, the tractors and tree cars hit the building within seconds. On the other hand, even if they were reeking of skunk smell and staggering and half blind, the force inside the force field was stronger than Jake, Marco, Rachel, and Dax. Of course, if the tree cars hit the building, they'd probably kill Farron, and the Earths didn't want that. Neither did we, but Visfree didn't know that. What happened? Jake asked me in private thoughts, big whisper. I sprayed them, I said. They didn't like it. I was pretty sure tigers can't normally smile, but I swear Jake did. He must have probably told Axe what happened. He was only to trust to speak to Visor 3, the only true Andalite. Visor, Axe said, it seems we ought to have a standoff. Don't try to bargain with me, fool, Visor sneered. I have forces on the way. Axe nodded. I wonder how your blade chip will smell after you spread your newly acquired stench through it. The smell, it will go away, the Visor said. Visor, my human host has memory of, when the human controllers began. The tail blade was snapped through the air and pressed against his throat. A twitch could send his head flying. Don't interrupt me, the Visor said calmly. You were saying, he asked Axe. The smell will go away in about 7 Earth days if you were in open air, Axe said calmly. In a spacecraft, airtight, closed up, cramped, you will never lose the smell. Never. However, thanks to Andalite chemical technology, there is a way to remove the stench. Let the human Farron go free. He is unconscious and hasn't seen what you are. Let him go and we'll give you the secret of neutralizing the stench and we will all walk away. I'll dispose you of myself, the Visor shrieked. Andalite filth. Visor, we both know how impossible it is to remove a smell once it gets into a spacecraft. You would need a full refitting in a major space dock. Your blade show would be intolerable. Visor Freeze just stood there and stared. His stalk eyes drooped a little. Get the human, he muttered to Harbinger. Visor, one Harbinger moaned, clearly looking to go back to our smells even stronger. This has not been a good day for me, Visor Freeze said. Would you like to feel as bad as I do? The two Harbinger went back inside and very quickly reappeared. They dropped him on the dirt. Having one of your men drive him to the nearest human hospital. When he is safe, we will tell you the secrets. And no tricks. We will be watching. He rolled his stalk eyes skyward. Visor followed the direction and saw high in the sky a bird of prey with a rust-red tail. You do realize one day I will have you all, Misery said. With all your clever tricks, I will still find you. No, I don't think so, Axe said. We are sure to smell you coming. Chapter 24. The Earth drove Farron to the hospital. Once we knew he was safe, Axe told Visery how a certain kind of juice get rid of the skunk smell. The Visitor still screaming when we disappeared in the woods. I love how this book had these horrifying things with the termites, and then like the ethos of whether it's right to, you know, kill things and so forth, and whether it's okay that this or that is happening. And now we run into Saturday morning cartoon ending where the villain gets like sprayed by a skunk or something, and everyone gets happily ever after. It's just great. The next day, Jake, Marco, Rachel, Axe, and I rode to bring the skunk mother back to her den. She walked inside and minutes later while back out, followed by Joey, Johnny, and Marky, and CJ. They ignored the 4 humans and like completely. After all, the mother skunk was back with her kits. The mother skunk isn't afraid of anything. They grew up so fast, Rachel says. They shuffled and snuffled and walled past in single file. I guess the real mother skunk gave them different names, Marco said. He was joking. I think. Well, anyway, the forest is safe for skunks now, Jake said. Jake had morphed into a housefly spy and Farron in a hospital. The commissioner was fine. The first thing he did when he gained conscious was make a phone call saying he was voting against the logging in the forest. In fact, according to Jake, he's been sorry he'd never listened to another word from damn Sim Lumber, and there's a good chance he'd press charges. It also seemed according to Farron that even the animals of the forest had risen against the loggers. He claimed he had been visited by a spirit of a great skunk with the eyes of a human girl. Have a good life, little skunks, Mark said to the skunk family. Tiny little masters of the forest. Everyone was smiling and pretty pleased with themselves, but I was still confused. As we walked toward the home back toward the forest, Jake hung back with me, letting the ears move ahead. You don't seem all that happy, Jake said. You miss being a skunk, Mommy? I smiled. No, I mean, yes, a little, but that's not it. So, what's bothering you? I shrugged. Nothing makes sense. Tobias eats one of the skunk kids and helps save the rest. I kill a termite queen to save everyone. I feel bad about it. But it came down to it, and when after Visitor Free, I had hesitation. One minute I was a rat being chased by guys sticks in there and bringing dead mice. Tobias who's guarding skunks he'd normally try to eat. And somehow it's all one big system. How does it all make sense? Jake looked sorry. He started a conversation. Boy, Cassie, I don't know. Okay, just tell me this. Am I part of nature, so I should live by the laws of nature, like kill to eat, kill or be killed, or am I something different because I'm human? He walked in silence while Jake thought it over. I felt sorry for him. I knew he'd rather be discussing Spider-Man vs. Batman with Marco. Well, I guess you're both. I mean, you're the person who got rid of the termite queen. You're also the person who went out of her way to save a bunch of skunks, just like Tobias ate a kit one day and saved the rest. That's not a lot of help. It just means humans are kind of in between, like still partly animals, still whatever it takes to survive, and partly, I don't know, something more than the other animals. Well, I know one thing, all the animals take care of themselves, only one animal has the intelligence and power to save all the other ones. I nod. You're pretty smart sometimes, Jake. Just sometimes. You're right, only one animal can help save all the other animals. Only humans can do that. Of course, we had to save ourselves first. I sighed. It's all still too complicated. I saw a shadow flash overhead. I looked up and saw Tobias. He dropped down out of trees and reappeared in the branch just up the trail. Hi, Tobias, I called him. Hi, Cassie. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. He definitely seemed pretty smug about something. What's up, bird boy? Marco asked him. I was just checking out our friends at the logging camp. They now have two entire truckloads of juice. They made a trip of juice. They had a big pit in the ground, made a kind of swimming pool filled with this stuff. There's a reason I'm there most of the night and all the morning. Judging from the way everyone's still staying back, he probably still stinks. Plus, he said with a slight evil laugh, the visitor now has a lovely, attractive shade of purple. Gee, that's too bad, Rachel said. I feel so sorry for him. Soon he may begin to suspect the truth, X said. You think maybe we should have told him the truth? That it's tomato juice, not grape juice? Watch the way skunks smell? We all looked at each other and broke up laughing at the same moment. Nah, I didn't think so. And that is the end of the book. That is the end of Animorphs number 9. Yes, they had a fun friend moment. So I hope you all enjoyed the book, because I certainly did. That's definitely one of my more favorite ones, especially for the early bits.